There's a new Star Wars Disney Plus live-action TV show in the works, and I have some guesses what it could be about, which, of course, is going to get my hopes up, and then they're going to be terribly let down, but hey, that's life.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
So Variety is reporting that their sources, yeah, I know, just let it go. Well, they're telling them that Leslie Headland is going to write, direct, and showrun a new female-centric live-action Disney Plus Star Wars television show. And like I said in the beginning, I have some guesses what female character we might be following. First, just in case you're upset, you're groaning, female-centric, just realize I think Lucasfilm has learned their lesson under Disney that you can't just make Mary Sue's, you have to make female characters with good backstories and character development. I don't understand why that became a problem in the sequel trilogy, but I feel like they've shown, hey, we're doing things like the OT, like the prequels, with well-written female characters, like what they did in The Mandalorian with Cara Dune. So I think they're going back on the right path. So if you instantly want to write off this potential live-action series because it's female-centric, that's completely fine. I know people have been burned by Disney when it comes to female characters in Star Wars, but I think they're getting on the right path. That being said, I would love for it to be about Dr. Aphra, and if you don't know who Dr. Aphra is, she is a rogue archaeologist who is morally gray. I'd say chaos, and really just wanting to do what works well for her. Though occasionally she does do things of good. And if you haven't followed her in the Vader comics, she has her own Dr. Aphra series now. She also was in some issues of the main Star Wars comic lines. She's amazing. I absolutely love her, and I think a live-action show about her would go over very, very well. I would be interested if they'd show her working with Vader, and if we'd actually have Vader back for a live-action television show. I think that would be insane. Also, Asian representation I know is a big problem in Star Wars, and that would help with it. However, Variety is reporting that their sources are saying that this series most likely will take place in a different part of the timeline than what we've been around, so I feel like that kind of strikes Aphra out because she's around the OT, and we already have a series, Cassian Andor series, which happens 5 years before A New Hope, or Rogue One, which is A New Hope. And then we have the Obi-Wan series, so kind of feel like they're gonna jump to some other time. Now, there also has been a lot of talk about a live-action Ahsoka Tano and how her appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2 is a backdoor to her own show. So maybe this is what they're talking about. Deadline also came out and said they contacted their sources and learned that the show will be female-driven action thriller with martial arts elements set in an alternate timeline from the usual Star Wars universe. And we haven't explored a lot between the OT and the sequel trilogy, so that could be a timeline that we haven't spent a lot of time in. I could have picked a different word for that. Spent a lot of space in. Why am I blanking on another word for time? Let me know in the comment section down below what word you would have used. Sorry. I'd love to see Ahsoka and what she's up to between the OT and sequel trilogy. So Deadline says alternate timeline though. And I think maybe they just said it in a funny way because it almost makes it sound like it's a Star Wars what if. Like, oh hey, what if this happened? What if Luke hadn't drawn his lightsaber out at his sleeping fucking nephew? I think that would be cool, but I think that would work better for an animated series. Star Wars what if. So I'm really hoping what they meant is a different timeline than what we've spent a lot of time in so far. So now what I'm thinking, based off of seeing the various sources and what they've learned about this live action TV show, that maybe it's going to be about the High Republic era, which we're going to be focusing on 200 years before Episode 1 coming this fall via comics and books. But there have been some leaks showing that Disney/Lucasfilm has been getting trademarks for other things under the High Republic, such as apps, children's toys, Christmas decorations, video games, and stuff like that. So maybe they're moving forward and focusing on the High Republic and some female Jedi. And in case you don't know, they did introduce us to some female Jedi during the High Republic times, so just let me read about them really quick for you so it adds a little bit more to what I'm saying. So we have Avar Kriss. She has a green lightsaber, and she is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She's invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration to those who work for her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Kriss is the best of the best. Then we have Vern, who is described as a newly minted Jedi Knight. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order more so than any other her age. At 16, she's one of the youngest knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with the adults while also setting a good example for the younger Jedi. We also have Trennis, who is a young firebrand Jedi believed to have a great future ahead of her if only she would believe it herself. Quick-witted and more impulsive than she should be, Trennis has only been a Jedi Knight for a few weeks and is still a little starstruck. She is determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed in the Starlight Beacon. But first she must learn to trust in herself as much as she trusts in the Force. Now what's interesting about that is Trennis is the name of one of the 20 Jedi Masters that were lost who turned away from the Jedi Order. So actually a show about Trennis and her turn away from the Jedi Order and becoming just a exasperated, fuck you, I'm disillusioned with you guys, I'm going my own way. Pretty cool, in my opinion. Honestly though, if we're doing a live-action Star Wars TV series about the High Republic, I would prefer it not to be just one gender specific. Just have Jedi there. Male, female, doesn't matter, just seeing the Jedi at their height would be so cool. It's something we haven't seen before, and I think kids and adults would really enjoy that. I don't think we need to push one side or the other for it. So I guess I kind of hope we get a Dr. Aphra live-action TV series. I know we're getting an audio drama this July, and it's covering the Vader comics. I think eventually Ahsoka Tano, especially if she is received well in Mandalorian Season 2, we'll get our own TV show, and with what they've been trademarking lately, I have a feeling a show for the High Republic is going to happen, but maybe it's animation because there's been a lot of talks about further animated shows for Star Wars. I wouldn't be opposed to as well, I know this is completely out there, maybe going 100, 200 years in the future and seeing what the Star Wars world is like at that point. What's the galaxy doing? Have the Jedi come back? I think that could be a lot of fun. But what do you think about this news? What do you think about a female-centric live-action Star Wars Disney Plus TV show? I'm sorry. For some reason, it gives me joy saying all those words now. It's just absurdly long to say. Do you like that idea? Do you wish that they would stop doing gender-focused stuff and just have people there that make the story great? And what female character would you have it be centered on if you could?
Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.